Do you have any concerns about a large nation state that has hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to intentionally disrupt the blockchain?
I don't worry about that at all. Bitcoin has achieved a level of computing that no single nation state can overthrow it through computation alone. The effort to do so would require a massive covert operation of chip fabrication, then the coordinated assault that would give them dominance over the next block for 10 minutes until we kick those bastards off the network, rework the protocol around them. They would be revealed. They would have lost $1 billion doing this, and all they got to do was one double spend.
The state and its cronies have just commenced the most bullish attack on Bitcoin in history. Is $1 million Bitcoin still in play? You bet your ass, and don't take my word for it. Strike CEO Jack Mallers believes so, and faster than many might think. Like this cycle. Stay until the finish. We have a bold prediction from yours truly, exactly when the Omega candle will hit, what will cause it, and officially mark game over for fiat. That's right, baby, game on. Show me your war face. That's not a war face. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it. Now, before we dive in, remember, Bitcoin was designed to be attacked.
When the EU says we need to attack the price of Bitcoin, that is music to Bitcoiners' ears, because all attacks mean greater hash rate, greater security, and higher prices. It's designed to be attacked. The more you attack it, the higher the price goes. So we welcome the EU's attacks, and the IMF and Christine Lagarde and central banks and Federal Reserve Bank. Please attack me so that my price can go to $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a coin. Thank you.
And by now, I'm sure you've all caught wind of the recent news. The feds have arrested the founders of Bitcoin mixer Samurai Wallet, and Edward Snowden nails it. The DOJ has once again criminalized developers of an app that restores financial privacy. Now let's get into the weeds. U.S. authorities on Wednesday arrested and charged the founders of Bitcoin mixer Samurai Wallet, accusing them of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Interesting. The U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York said that Keon Rodriguez and William Lonergan Hill were charged with operating a cryptocurrency mixer that executed over $2 billion in unlawful transactions and facilitated more than $100 million in money laundering transactions from illegal dark web markets. The agency asserts that their platform gave criminals a virtual haven to exchange illicit funds. Now hold on, let's go back. What did they say? What were they laundering again? The government just declared that Bitcoin is money. Believe it or not, we have fucking made it, ladies and gentlemen. The government literally just said Bitcoin is money while futilely attempting to stop or scare people. It's official now, and no one, not the IMF, not your grandma, not J-Pow, not that fat guy in a little coat. Bitcoin is money, and it is the most superior form of it in existence. So a government led by this is going to stop Bitcoin? No, no, no. Not the case, my friends. They are providing the greatest advertisement for Bitcoin we have ever seen. And let me let you in on a little secret. If you want to know what someone is really about, find out what they despise. Find out what they hate. That tells you all you need to know about them. And history teaches us there's a little something called blowback. And when the state attacks privacy, it creates an incentive to seek it. Just like what happened in Canada, just like removing Russia from SWIFT. And we see this with other people being cut off from their bank accounts or trying to withdraw money. You know, some people see this. Capital gains. Good luck with that. The IRS 1099, de facto KYC, the money wars, SWIFT launching a CBDC within the next year, inflation persisting, the samurai arrests, and what else? And a lot of people see that and they revert back to the lizard brain, that primitive fiat remnant of the black pill. They only see the darkness. And they're missing the bigger picture, the insanely bullish bigger picture for Bitcoin's price and for privacy. And yes, this is 100% true. Be sure to read that. This is the mother of all epochs, which is also why it is the most bullish and likely the most legendary. Tales will be told of this day, and no one's going to remember the names of the salad fingers who chose to have fun staying poor during the great separation of money and state. Now, friends, let's cough up that black pill and zoom out a bit, shall we? Let's not forget the governments are broke. Not to mention, we get a lot of productive, smart people that are able to be mobile and agile with portable money that is unconfiscatable. High inflation everywhere in fiat currencies. They're going to have to print, and eventually the whole fiat house of cards comes crashing down. And also remember, all the fudsters out there, at the end of the day, well, they either come around and bend the knee or spew garbage in order to take advantage of dips. The end game for everyone, even the haters, is to get more Bitcoin. So if that goes for me and you and businesses and corporations, it also goes for nation states. They'll do any and everything to FUD and take advantage by shaking people out or by seizing funds through their proxies like ETFs and Coinbase, for example. Now, how do you protect yourself? Which brings us to a good time to recognize our sponsors, the Bitcoin Way, because you do it by taking self-custody. And if you're just getting started on your Bitcoin journey or would like a white glove service for all things Bitcoin privacy, security, and best practices, you're going to want to check out the Bitcoin Way. Now, Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. You know, understanding the why of Bitcoin sometimes isn't challenging, especially in clown world, but the how can be. And at the Bitcoin Way, they are here to help bridge that gap, marrying the why to the how. They can help you with all things Bitcoin, from setting up your first wallet and node all the way up to inheritance planning, accepting Bitcoin payments for your business, and all aspects of Bitcoin security and privacy. They even work with their clients on configuring routers, devices, and networks, and just improving their overall digital hygiene. Also, growing interest in UTXO management and coin joining. The Bitcoin Way has got you covered. Hey, looking to get started? You can book a free 30-minute consultation using that link below. Now, we know why they're attacking Bitcoin. At the end of the day, they hate competition and have nothing to stand on with their monopoly money. Are we going to $1 million? You bet your sweet ass we are.
$1 million for Bitcoin. Walk us through your thesis of how it could get there.
I just don't think that enough people have a big enough imagination of this upcoming cycle I'm expecting. The bond market is in trouble for really arguably the first time in modern financial history. Bondholders are getting absolutely demolished and crushed. Now, David, who owns bonds? All of our banks. So our bank deposits aren't there because the bonds that were purchased with my deposit is underwater. And so if central banks and government is going to try and save that market, the amount of liquidity that's needed is going to send assets very high. If that happens, it's impossible to speculate on an asset as scarce as Bitcoin, but I think 250,000 to $1 million is the imagination I have in that range of just how big this can get. And that's based on all the liquidity that's going to be required to make this market solvent.
Lawlers is right. The fiat goose is cooked, and the attacks are going to create massive blowback. Prepare for hundreds of decentralized Bitcoin privacy tools to erupt. And I bet Janet is going to love that.
New technology has raised the possibility of reduced reliance on centralized intermediaries like banks and credit card companies. In 2008, a person or group of people using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto proposed a decentralized peer-to-peer system for making and processing payments. A key challenge in digital payments is to prevent the same assets from being spent twice. The Bitcoin white paper proposed a novel method for validating transactions using cryptography that addressed the so-called double spend problem.
When will the Omega candle hit? What will trigger it? Well, first, for the noobs, let's have Samson break down what the Omega candle is.
The Omega candle is a 100K green candle on the daily, and this is what happened after a God candle, which is 10K. I figure with the advent of the ETFs, and this massive change in the macroeconomic landscape, it's time for a bigger candle to measure. And I like the term Omega because you can quantify it. Like a 2 Omega day would be a 200K candle, or a 3 Omega. Kind of like you measure earthquakes on the Richter scale, right?
All right, strap in and get ready, because this will basically send Bitcoin to $1 billion and end the fiat nightmare as we know it. Definitely a hot take, but I believe that it will eventually be the Supreme Court that will send Bitcoin to $1 billion through an epic decision. We see the rumblings and things, this constant escalation. It is inevitable that it will go there, but Bitcoin has a lot going for it when it does. Think of the attacks on Tornado Cash, what the SEC has done, now with Samurai, but also look at the decisions against the SEC. I mean, just this past year alone, we have states opposing CBDCs and protecting fundamental Bitcoin freedoms, not to mention the countless senators and representatives openly openly advocating for Bitcoin and for freedom. And when this eventually goes there, there's a early 90s precedent decision which decided that software is speech protected by the First Amendment. Not to mention, a little more recent, we have Citizens United, which determined that money is speech. So whichever angle the state wants to take, Bitcoin is protected by precedent. And if or when it comes to that and Bitcoin wins that decision, and it will, the Omega candle that ends fiat will be in full fucking send mode. Bitcoin was designed to be attacked. Any attempt to stifle it, you're only going to make it stronger. Bitcoin is Voltron. All these things are just going to make Bitcoin stronger, more private, more secure in the long run. And it still appears that Bitcoin is not dead. TikTok. Next block, baby. Yeah, I know Jack predicted Bitcoin to hit 1 million by the end of this cycle, but the godfather of the Omega candle himself, Samson Mao, thinks Bitcoin could hit 1 million by the end of this year. Think he's crazy? Check that out. Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter for all the latest breaking Bitcoin news. Set those notifications. Be sure to share the Sound Money Gospel. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.